Noah.
All right. Okay. Yes, so video search is going to be huge. Can you hear me? Is this good?
Yeah.
Okay. So like Matt just said, I'm from Deepgram. I'm the CTO. My CEO is over there. And we do audio and video search, or that's one of the things that we do. So I'm going to show you 2 demos and then get to the whole like why audio and video search is going to be a huge thing. So the first one is our embedded player. And just the first thing to note here is like this is a normal video audio player, except that there's also a search bar and there are these timeline markers and a few features that make it easier to navigate through. So this is a podcast I'm going to play on startups. Hopefully you can hear it. So this is Startup School Radio. And we can search for something like Y Combinator.
Stream to get into Y Combinator and
I'm a partner at Y Combinator.
There are these little buttons to navigate around, but you can also just click on the timeline markers.
I think we should apply to Y Combinator. And
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Oh, good question.
How easy was it to add those search previously?
Oh my gosh. You know, well, there's great news for everybody who wants to do this. This is a very simple 3-layer cake. So there's Video.js, and then there's this plugin called Video.js Markers, which just puts the red dots on there programmatically. And then there's our API, which indexes the video or the audio, and then you can use API calls to search through it and find phrases. So some challenges we ran into when we were making this, there's a whole new set of UI challenges because video search is not something, at least in video search, is not something that's been fully explored yet. And we ran into a lot of browser bugs, especially related to variable bitrate encoding. Seeking doesn't work in browsers for video. You can try and go to like 10 seconds, go at current time equals 10 seconds. That'll work pretty well. But if you try to set it to be like 600 seconds, it may jump to 620 seconds. It may jump to 580 seconds. And we looked deeper into this because at first we thought our search engine just sucked. But actually, there are all these open tickets and bugs and stuff. And apparently, C.H. Cunningham figured it out. He read the source code for MPEG-123, FFmpeg, and LAME, because there's no spec for this, but he figured it out, how it works. There's a bug in the way that MP3s are encoded and then decoded in browsers. So they use a table of contents to figure out, how the file is laid out. And when you have variable bitrate encoding, it messes that up, and it makes it so that there's errors, rounding errors in the conversion back to get the time in the file. So you can't use variable bitrate encoded files, at least for now, until this is fixed. Yeah, so there'd be like huge differences. Normally, if you're just watching a movie for pleasure, you wouldn't notice this maybe. But if you need to jump to a search result at time 312 seconds, if it's at 313 seconds instead, that could just miss your search result, if it's a second-long search result. So it's very important to get this correct. The second demo is called Mashly, and this is a tool that lets you make Donald Trump say anything.
Sometimes I get depressed and go to the airport to pick up other people's rubbish.
So you heard him say it. So one of our users made this as soon as we put it up, and we have no idea who they were. But we really like them.
Who is on the domain?
So the cool thing, I think, is not any particular mashup, but the fact that you can make anything. So you can say, like, I love, and browse through, find a clip, modify the start and end times, trim it, say, I love Hillary Clinton, or Bernie Sanders, even worse.
Bernie Sanders.
And
Hillary.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And Hillary.
And then I'm just going to add, for some reason, here, just.
Knock down the world.
Oh. Okay, I really like that one. So it's kind of, it takes a little bit to render the video, so.
I love Bernie Sanders and Hillary.
So we let you test it with audio first. You can listen to it, and then you can put in your email, and then we will render it for you.
I love Bernie Sanders and Hillary. I love Bernie Sanders and Hillary.
And then you can share this and make it go viral and whatever you want to do. So that was a lot of fun. That was just a week-long project we did over like Christmas break. We haven't maintained it since. We haven't added any new content, but it still works. It's still up somehow. So for the audio side of it, that's pretty lightweight. We just used the Wave module in Python and just dynamically generated. If you request the server and then say at this series of start and stop times, we can get the clip audio and splice it together. But we used FFmpeg to render the actual video, and that was a little bit trickier because there's no really clean API that we found for what we wanted to do. So in general, the challenges relate to speed. So video is a lot more heavily compressed just by necessity. So we learned all about keyframes, which was like a new thing for us, and about H.264 and how to optimize FFmpeg. And even still, even though we've made things a lot better, there are some places where it gets messed up. If it's a really short clip, it'll be like misaligned from the audio. Sometimes. So if anybody has any better ideas about how to dynamically splice clips from different videos together efficiently, please let me know. This is just some random code. This is like what we did. We just wrapped the FFmpeg command line API. Sure.
Are you re-encoding the video?
Not the whole things.
Or are you just pulling out from keyframe onwards chunks and splicing them together?
So we don't want to be limited by where the keyframes are. So we just seek to the first one before where we want to start, and then decode to that point, and then pipe the raw data. So, and also we didn't want to create a bunch of extra files. We wanted to make this really simple. So we just create dynamically like 8 FIFOs if there are 8 clips that you want to put together to make your video. And then start 8 FFmpeg processes that pipe raw data into the FIFOs, and then one master process that feeds off of all of those, and then assembles it and encodes it into one final MP4. And that's what we that's what we serve to the user.
That's awesome.
There may be something better to do. I don't know. This was just a hack. Since then, I've learned how to use Docker. I think that might be better. Okay. So
Stay away.
So
Don't do that.
So the title of the talk. So why is video search going to be huge? Okay. So this afternoon, I went to youtube.com and I searched for funny cats. And these are some of the results I got. These are the first 4. And I did a Control F for funny cats, and whoa, there's funny cats all over the place. And it gives you a hint as to how Google is actually pulling this off. They're not searching through videos, they're searching through websites. And each website has one video, but the video is irrelevant. It's the comments, it's the description, it's the title, it's the graph data too, the navigational data between videos. Which recommended video will a user click on? How long do they watch it? All of this metadata, they're really used to indexing because they've already figured out how to do that. But you can't search for something like Peter Thiel talking about Snapchat. Because if you do that, you get a bunch of random videos about Peter Thiel. Each of these is like an hour long. So even if he talks about Snapchat somewhere, you'll never be able to find it out, or it would take you 4 hours. So we're limited in ways that we don't usually think about by conventional web search approaches to video. Google tried to fix this problem in 2008, or they explored an alternative approach, which is to use speech recognition, turn all the videos into text, and they did this specifically with political content, so Obama's speeches and McCain's speeches. And so here was their interface, which was beautiful for 2008, and you can, there are 2 components. There's the old-fashioned metadata search on the bottom, and then there's the new-fashioned nonlinear interface to each video that you can jump around and click on these markers, just like our embedded player. And that's super cool, but in the end, it doesn't work at scale because speech recognition is a piece of shit. I tried to get Google's speech recognition this afternoon to recognize video.js, and it thinks I'm saying video chat or something similar, which I can't blame it because video chat is a valid thing to say. It sounds kind of like video.js, but having that one mistake means that if I search through a lecture about video.js, I would never find what I'm looking for. Or if I'm searching through a lecture about a lot of things and video.js is mentioned somewhere specifically, I'm not going to be able to find it. So in order to make this work and actually index the content, you can't rely on converting media data into text, which is already easy to index. You have to index it in some more native format. So that's what we're trying to do. And we have 2 facets of what we're doing. We're providing this embeddable player that lets you search through your own content. So you can, if you're a podcaster or a blogger or something, you can host media and actually make it searchable with our API for free. But on the other hand, we crawl the web and we're indexing media and we're trying to uncover, highly non-viral content that actually has a lot of value. and make it useful for people. And you can sign up for free and index your content. And you can also contact me at this email address if you want to talk about videos or searchable video. And that's it. Thank you.